The night of September 7, 1996, began with flashing lights, crowds, and celebration. It was a warm Saturday in Las Vegas, where rapper Tupac Shakur, one of the most iconic and controversial figures in music history, was enjoying the height of his fame. He had just released All Eyes on Me, a groundbreaking double album that cemented him as the voice of a generation. He was 25 years old, rich, charismatic, and unstoppable. But by midnight, the celebration would turn into chaos. Gunfire echoed across the Las Vegas Strip, and within minutes, Tupac Shakur lay bleeding in the passenger seat of a black BMW, the same car that symbolized his success now serving as his deathbed. The world would never be the same again. For nearly 3 decades, Tupac's murder has remained one of the greatest mysteries in pop culture. Theories abound. Was it gang-related? A record label hit? A government setup? Or something much darker, a conspiracy to silence the most powerful black voice of the 1990s? Tonight, we're peeling back the layers to explore the strange, chilling, and often overlooked details of Tupac's final hours. The day began with excitement. Tupac was in Las Vegas to attend a Mike Tyson boxing match. Tyson was not only a friend but someone Tupac deeply admired. The event at the MGM Grand was electric, packed with celebrities, gang affiliates, and music industry insiders. Tupac arrived in style, Versace suit, gold chains glinting under the arena lights, and his ever-present death row entourage. Sitting beside him was Suge Knight, the imposing and feared CEO of Death Row Records. Together, they were untouchable, or so it seemed. After Tyson's fight ended in a shocking first-round knockout, Tupac and his crew exited the arena into the bustling crowd. But then, something happened that would set off a chain reaction of violence. In the hotel lobby, a member of Tupac's entourage spotted Orlando "Baby" Lane Anderson, a known member of the Southside Crips, a rival gang. Anderson had allegedly robbed one of Death Row's affiliates earlier that year. Tupac, impulsive and hot-blooded, charged at him. Surveillance footage later showed Tupac throwing the first punch. Within seconds, the hallway erupted into chaos. Kicks, fists, shouting. It was a brutal beating, right in front of hotel cameras. That moment, caught on tape, may have sealed Tupac's fate. Security quickly broke it up. Tupac and his entourage left the MGM, laughing and talking like it was just another wild night. But the Crips weren't laughing. Retaliation, in gang culture, is never optional. After the fight, Tupac went back to his suite at the Luxor Hotel to change. He was scheduled to perform at Club 662, a nightclub owned by Suge Knight. The night was supposed to be about music and celebration, but as the clock ticked past 10 p.m., the energy around him began to feel uneasy. Witnesses later said Tupac seemed restless, distracted. He was wearing his signature gold jewelry and a black bandana tied in front. Suge was driving the BMW sedan, and Tupac was in the passenger seat, a powerful image, two kings of West Coast hip-hop cruising through the Vegas night. They were part of a 6-car caravan filled with Death Row associates, bodyguards, and friends. Around them, the Vegas Strip pulsed with life, neon lights, limousines, and tourists, unaware that one of music's greatest legends was moments away from tragedy. As they drove, police on motorcycles briefly stopped their convoy for playing loud music and not wearing seatbelts. Tupac laughed it off. Just minutes later, everything changed. At 11:15 p.m., Suge Knight and Tupac stopped at a red light on East Flamingo Road, just off the Vegas Strip. They were near the intersection of Koval Lane, surrounded by cars, music, and city noise. A white Cadillac pulled up beside them on the right, its windows rolled down. Then, the sound of rapid gunfire shattered the night. Boom. 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 Witnesses said it happened in seconds. The Cadillac's passenger aimed a .40 caliber Glock and unleashed a barrage of bullets, 13 rounds in total. Four hit Tupac, one in the arm, one in the thigh, and two in the chest. One of those bullets tore through his right lung. Suge Knight, though grazed in the head by shrapnel, managed to hit the gas and speed away, tires screeching. The car swerved wildly as Suge tried to outrun death itself. Police arrived within minutes, finding Tupac slumped in the seat, gasping for air. His jewelry was gone, his blood staining the leather interior. As officers shouted questions, Tupac's eyes flickered open. When asked who shot him, he simply whispered, "F you." Those were his last known words. Paramedics rushed Tupac to University Medical Center, where doctors fought desperately to save him. He underwent emergency surgery to remove his damaged lung, and for a few days, hope lingered. He was placed on life support, surrounded by armed guards and a constant stream of family and friends, including his mother, Flamingo Shakur, who refused to leave his side. But the damage was too severe. On September 13, 1996, at 4:03 p.m., Tupac Amaru Shakur was pronounced dead. Official cause of death: respiratory failure and cardiac arrest due to multiple gunshot wounds. He was only 25 years old. Almost immediately, the rumors began. Some said Suge Knight had set him up. Others claimed it was a Crips retaliation hit, specifically by Orlando Anderson. Still others believed the FBI had been watching Tupac for years and knew exactly what would happen that night. And then there were those who believed Tupac never died at all. The Las Vegas police investigation was sloppy at best, suspicious at worst. No one was ever arrested. The murder weapon was never found. Witnesses vanished, changed their stories, or refused to cooperate. Some said Suge Knight had too much influence, that people were scared to talk. Others claimed key evidence was destroyed or hidden. And then came the web of rivalries, paranoia, and betrayal that surrounded Death Row Records. Tupac had been planning to leave Death Row, to start his own label, Machiavelli Records. Rumor had it he was preparing to expose corruption, money laundering, and gang activity tied to the company. Was that motive enough to silence him? Adding to the confusion was the strange behavior of Suge Knight after the shooting. Despite being injured, he gave calm interviews days later, showing no sign of grief or guilt. He also claimed he didn't believe Tupac was dead, that Pac was fine. Meanwhile, Orlando Anderson, the Crip beaten by Tupac earlier that night, was questioned but never charged. He denied involvement until his own violent death 2 years later in a gang shootout. The cycle of silence and death continued, leaving more questions than answers. In the weeks before his murder, Tupac had been obsessed with death, not out of fear, but fascination. He read The Prince by Machiavelli, the 16th-century philosopher who wrote about faking one's death to fool enemies. Just before he died, Tupac recorded an album under the alias Machiavelli, titled The Don Killuminati, The 7-Day Theory. It was released posthumously, and fans immediately noticed something eerie. The album cover showed Tupac crucified, like Jesus, shirtless, bound, wearing a crown of thorns. The number 7 appeared repeatedly throughout the album. The shooting happened on the 7th, he survived 7 days, and he died at 4:03 p.m., 4 plus 3 is equal to 7. The numerology, the imagery, the timing, it all fueled the myth that Tupac had faked his death. Some claimed he fled to Cuba, living under protection from political allies of his mother's past. Others pointed to strange sightings of Tupac around the world, blurry photos, mysterious letters, secret recordings. It became more than a rumor. It became a movement, a belief that Tupac was too powerful, too smart, too alive to die in the way he did. What makes Tupac's death so haunting isn't just the mystery, it's how his presence never faded. Every few years, new evidence surfaces, unreleased interviews, FBI documents, confessions. In 2023, a major development finally broke. A man named Dwayne Keefe D. Davis, a former Compton gang member and uncle of Orlando Anderson, was arrested for Tupac's murder. He claimed he was in the car the night Tupac was shot, and that Anderson pulled the trigger. But even that confession didn't close the case. Many believe Keefe D's story doesn't fit the evidence. Others think he's a scapegoat, a convenient way to solve a case the world stopped investigating long ago. What's undeniable is this: too many people wanted Tupac gone. Rival gangs. Corrupt industry figures. Even federal agencies that saw him as a threat. He was more than a rapper, he was a revolutionary. A poet who spoke truth to power. And history shows, again and again, what happens to men like that. Nearly 30 years later, Tupac's face still stares out from murals, album covers, and protest banners. His words, about police brutality, poverty, racism, and resilience, are still relevant today. But beneath the admiration lies something darker, the sense that the system, whether the streets, the industry, or the government, took him out. His death feels less like the end of a man and more like the silencing of a message. Tupac once said in an interview, "I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world." And he did. His spirit, fiery, flawed, and fearless, never really died. It haunts hip-hop, Hollywood, and the hearts of everyone who still asks the question no one can answer: who really killed Tupac Shakur? And perhaps even more haunting, why? Because the strange circumstances of Tupac's final hours weren't just about bullets in Las Vegas. They were about power, betrayal, and a prophecy that continues to echo, that truth in America is always dangerous, and that some voices are silenced not by fate, but by fear. Tupac Shakur may have been buried in 1996. But his ghost still walks the strip, still whispers through the music, still asks us to look deeper, and to never stop searching for the truth.